powerful, compact, and affordable. And no, we're not talking about my Toyota Tercel. We're talking about something that people actually want. And this is the Xbox Series S. Hello, welcome back for another video. I'm your host, Geoff. And today we'll be looking at the Xbox Series S, the center of my home theater setup. And I'm going to tell you about why I love it and why I think you will too. And by the way, this review is made to be simple and easy to understand, just for people who want to see the Series S in action and view the most important specs. Also, timestamps are in the description below, so you can just jump to the parts that interest you most, so I don't bore you. All right, so for the price, it's $300 US, which is very good for what you're getting and how the market is right now for other gaming consoles. Then we're going to jump right into the specs. This thing aims to be a 1440p gaming machine, and it can upscale games to 4K, and it can also play back your movies at true 4K. It's able to output 120 FPS, like 4 frames per second, which is awesome, but in most cases, it's going to be around 60. It has a custom 512 gigabyte SSD. It's for your game storage, and so it's very fast. It's got 10 gigs of RAM, which helps the system stay fast and responsive. You will notice there is no disk drive at all, so all your games are going to have to be downloaded digitally. And it also has 3 USB ports. That's great for plugging in maybe an external hard drive, or maybe charging a dead controller or something on the go. It also has an HDMI port and an Ethernet port. Alright, so for some of the features I find that are most important with the Series S, to me anyways, the FPS boost, it does what it says, and it boosts frame rates on your older gen games like your 360 and your Xbox One titles. It can make them run from 30 FPS, and it can make them run up to 60 FPS or even higher in some situations on the Series S and the X as well. Microsoft can do this without game developers needing to do anything. And I'll leave a list for all the titles that support this feature in the description below. Alright, so the next feature is going to sound like the last one, but it's not. So it's optimized for Series X and S. This feature is done by the game developers to use the hardware from the Series X and S to increase the resolution, to have better graphics, and better frame rates from games from just the original Xbox One. There's also ray tracing, which ray tracing pretty much creates like a more realistic scene using lighting and shadows, keyboard and mouse support. So you're actually able to play select games on the S and X with mouse and keyboard, which is an awesome addition if you've played PC before. Quick resume. So an example of this is, say I'm playing Halo Infinite, and my buddy messages me and says, hey, you want to play some Far Cry 6? I can switch over to Far Cry 6, play that with him, and when we're done playing, I can go right back into Halo Infinite and start right where I left off with barely any loading times. This feature has come in handy many of times, and I don't know if I could ever go without it. And finally, Game Pass. This service is the Netflix of gaming. It provides hundreds of games for you to play and allows you to play online games for a low monthly fee. This is what makes the Series S shine, since there's no disk drive and you can install and uninstall games on the fly. Okay, so before we jump into the gaming test, I just want to make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm going to show you some of the accessories I have for the S that'll make your experience way better.
All videos are shot in 1080p, 60 frames per second, using the built-in capture tool on the Series S. All these games do run at 60 frames per second at 4K as well.
maybe we're not gonna die after all. Got one of the annoying predators.
Alright, so there you have it. The Series S is a strong performer in games, and it's perfect for gaming at 1080p. And so, who is this for? This is for somebody who is on a budget, or maybe you have a different console, say a PS5. This would definitely pair nicely with that, so you can just play Xbox exclusives without breaking the bank. Or if you're somebody who just plays games casually, or you play story-driven games at smooth frame rates. Alright, so pros and cons. So some of the pros for me is just how small and portable this thing is. Like, I'm pretty sure my cat is bigger than this thing. The price, it's good for what you're getting, because you couldn't build a gaming computer for this cheap. Also, how easy it is to jump from one app or game to another. That I can play most games at 60 frames per second, because 30 frames strains my eyes and it's just not enjoyable. Especially if you play games on a PC before, it's just really hard to go back. It's like having a car that has AC and then you buy another car that doesn't have AC. It's that same kind of feeling. So for cons, some of the things that I don't like is the storage. It's pretty small. It's 512 gigs on the box, what it says it has. But after everything is installed on it, like the operating system, you only have 368 gigs that are actually usable. So for games like Call of Duty Warzone, that game alone is about 100 gigs. And so that can fill up really quick. And one of my other main cons was some games still run at 30 frames per second, even the ones that are optimized for Series X and S. Alright, so as promised, here are a few of the accessories that I really enjoy having that work well with the Series S. So first up, we have these Razer Kraken X headphones. They're very comfortable, and they don't give you a headache like some headsets seem to do. The sound is really good, and they look great as well. The mic is a little bit quieter right out the box, but with some adjustments in the settings, you'll be all good to go in no time. Alright, so another is this charging station for your controllers. So you never have to worry about having a dead controller when you're just about to have a gaming session. The LED indicator on the front, it lets you know when the controllers are charged and when they're ready to go. And finally, for storage, I went with a different option than most. I went with an SSD that's in an external case. The benefit of this is it has fast transfer speeds, and the main reason I got this was because of dual use. So what I mean by that is if you have a computer and you realize you're not using your Xbox that much, you can simply remove your drive from the case and install it in your PC, and you're all good to go. Alright, so that's all I have for you today. Make sure you comment below if you have any questions, and like and subscribe to the channel for more content. And I'll see you in the next one.